Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Planning Board, February 7th, 2024. We start our meeting by doing the Pledge of Allegiance, so please stand and join with me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A few housekeeping items. First, anybody that has cell phones, electronic devices, either put them on mute or vibrate. I would be appreciative. In addition to that, if there's an emergency, we have two exits, one to my immediate right, one to the back of the room. Please do not use the elevator. If you need assistance, somebody will help you get down the stairs. Also, we continue to carry on with virtual, and for those that are watching, it's www.zoom.us, and you enter the meeting ID of 754-663-912, or if you're calling in by phone, one of the primary numbers is 646-558-8656. The ID number will be the same, 754-663-912. If when we do open up the public hearings, you have a *6 to toggle or mute or unmute to be able to talk, and if you want to speak, *9 to raise your hand. With that, I'll now introduce the members of the board, starting with the Director of the Planning, George Sioris.
Good evening.
Town Administrator Representative, Mr. Randy Chase.
Good evening.
I'm going to have Mr. Fishman in place of the vacant seat, so he'll be sitting as a full board member tonight.
Good evening.
We have Mr. Dan Healy.
Good evening.
We have Town Council Representative, Mr. Grenice.
Good evening.
Way over in the corner, we have Town Engineer, Mr. LaRue.
Good evening.
We have Member Mr. Malavy.
Good evening.
We have Member Mr. Feinhauer.
Good evening.
We have Secretary, Mr. Myers.
Hi, everyone.
We have the Vice Chair, Mr. Nelson.
Good evening.
And I'm the Chair, John O'Connor. And the first item on the agenda, since there's no escrows, we'll have approval of the minutes of January 17th, 2024.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Grenice. We have a second. That was by Mr. Myers?
No, Mr.
Oh,
Nelson.
Mr. Nelson. Sorry, just want to make sure she gets it. Whoops, and I apologize. I miss Ms. Cavallo. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Was that Nelson or Myers, please?
Nelson.
Yeah, that was Nelson.
Mr. Nelson.
And Grenice. Grenice made a motion.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain.
Abstain.
So we have one abstain. Okay, moving on to other business. Oh, wait, we do have correspondence. Mr. Secretary.
We have a fascinating edition of the Town and Country magazine. George, thank you.
Very good. He's done very well.
Okay. Anybody wants it, I'm sure they can get it from George.
Okay, very good, thank you. Other business, we have a voluntary merger of 21 and 23 Jenna Ave, PID 59016 and 59015, which is 21 and 23 Jenna Ave. George, you want to open that up?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, this one's, I think it's pretty straightforward. This is up on Rainbow Lake in the north end of town near Upper Shields Pond and Lower Shields Pond off the bypass. It's an existing house on the lot. Pretty straightforward, so town recommend approval of the merger, and it's been signed off by assessing department as well.
And we don't have to open the public hearing for this?
No.
So I'm bringing back to the board. Any questions from the board members? If not, on the last page is a proposed motion.
Mr. Chairman, if there's no questions from the board, I'd like to make a motion. I move to approve pursuant to RSA 674:39A, the voluntary merger of PID 59016, 21 Gina Ave in PID 59615, 23 Gina Ave, parcel 59015 will be deleted, and parcel 59016 will be retained.
So we have a motion by Mr. Grenice.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Nelson, starting with Mr. Chase,
Yes.
Mr. Fishman,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Grenice.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
Mr. Weinhauer.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Nelson.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. That has been approved. Good luck to you, if you're out there. Let's see. The next item under the other business is recommend restoration of involuntary merger of lots PID 27108, 1 Davis Court. Members of the board, please pay close attention to this here. George has got some
Okay.
areas we need to address.
Yep, Mr. Chairman, this one's a little bit different situation. This is an involuntary merger, but real quickly for the new members of the board, up until recently, the towns had a law that allowed them what they call involuntary merger. The assessing department could merge lots at their discretion and just do that, and would put lots, combine lots that used to be 2, 3, 4 lots from many, many years ago. And they would send a letter to the property owners saying, we're merging the lots, which was allowed under state law. A few years back, the legislature changed that law and said that was not correct for the towns to do that. So now, they're putting, this particular applicant, 1 Davis Court is off of Highland Avenue in the South Avenue part of town. Davis Court's a private road. It's really a driveway with a single-family house there today. It's one lot. The owner, which is his right, is requesting that we go back to put it to 2 lots, what it was back in 1925. The situation here is different because the assessing department has no record, and they would be the department that would do this, that merged those lots involuntarily. So in the eyes of the town, this is still one lot. There's no record that we merged the lots. And there's an email from the tax assessor, Mark Jazanowski, who's recommending that we do not approve the restoration. And you also see attached a plan from 1974 that again shows a property that was done showing the one lot. There was no merging of the lots. If you look at the upper far right corner where it says 27108, that was never, there were never 2 lots there. So that's the legal record that the town also has at the registry, which is the number C-4584. And then one last thing, just for the record, because I went through the zoning board files yesterday. The previous owner, to Mr. Swope, went to the zoning board back in 2011, again, shown as one parcel. They wanted an 8-unit multifamily building, which was denied in 2011. Then they came back in 2015 for a 5-unit multifamily that was denied on one parcel. And then they came back in 2016 for a request for rehearings that was also denied by the zoning board. So I know I'm long-winded here, but staff is recommending not to restore the lots. So you have to make the motion the affirmative, and then if the board votes no, you can say no and the reason why you're doing that for the record.
Okay, very good. It's back to the board now. Again, just to make sure it's clear that George had indicated that this will be read, the motion in the affirmative, and you hopefully all have read the memo that came in from the tax assessor. And with that, is there any questions from the board members? If not, then I'll ask Mr. Grenice to read the motion.
All right, Mr. Chairman, if there's no comments, I make a motion, I move, motion to recommend pursuant to RSA 674:39AA, the restoration of parcel 27108, 1 Davis Court, to the Derry Town Council as requested by the landowner, Aaron Swoop, to its pre-merger status.
So we have a motion by Mr. Grenice. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Nelson. Running down to Mr. Chase.
I'm going to vote no.
Given the email from the assessing department and no corroborating proof that there ever was an involuntary merger, I believe it would be amiss of this board at this time to put them back into two lots that they, as the record shows, were never two lots.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Fishman?
I'll abstain.
Mr. Healy?
No, for the same reasons as Mr. Chase.
Mr. Ganese?
No, for the same reasons as Mr. Chase.
Mr. Malaby?
No, for the same reasons as Mr. Chase.
Mr. Feinauer?
No, for the same reasons as Mr. Chase.
Mr. Meyer?
Mr. Chase, as usual, is right on, so I will vote no.
Okay, Mr. Nelson?
I will vote no for the same reason as Mr. Chase indicated.
And the chairman's going to follow suit and vote no also. So with that, we have one abstaining, and the remainders in the no vote. Just a quick question on that. If they do want to divide that land up in the future, they could go to the zoning board and request a division?
In theory, yes. It's an old neighborhood. It's 100 years old. Obviously, it doesn't meet any of today's zoning, so in theory, yes, they could go to the zoning board and ask for a variance for
Because that would
not
be
meeting
the,
the
that would
lot
be the
size.
reason.
Davis Court is not a, even though it's private road on the town maps, it's a driveway. So it's not even a road to say we can go in there and, get frontage.
Okay, thank you very much. So your recourse is, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Nelson.
Yeah, I still support the memo from the assessor, but I'm a little confused on the details. It does say that according to a deed, it was two tracts of land, so which is controlling, the plat or the deed?
I think it's the plot, David, because if you look at the 1974 plan, they combined, those lots were combined by the owner at that time, and that's that recorded plan. It makes no reference to two parcels there.
And it's on the records of deeds, too.
Yeah. So,
Okay, thank you.
okay, I understand your question. I had the same thought.
Next item for business is planning director and chairman updates.
I just have one comment. I was reminded today by Sheila Bodenrader, anybody who has terms up, they all expire March 31st, and that's John O'Connor. We have a vacancy for Mark Carner. His position is the 31st. And John Morrison, if you're out there listening, as an alternate, John's also expires March 31st of this year. So if you want to get renewal, please contact Sheila. There's a form you can fill out, or email Sheila or call her and let her know that you'd like to be either reappointed, or if you'd like to get bumped up from an alternate to a full position, that's also an option.
Already done.
Yours is done.
The other thing is I want to reach out to the public. We do have a vacant spot in there, so anybody that's interested in joining the planning board, which is the best board in the town, please reach out to Sheila Brodenberry and fill out the voluntary form. So with that, that's the only thing I have to say. There is an election coming up, and I think this is our last meet before the election.
No, we
Just
have a
wanna
meeting
remind the
on,
public.
we have a meeting, yeah, 2 weeks from tonight, February 21st, you have one plan only. You'll have the CIP presentation by the town administrator, which we have to do every year. And then you have the new Common Man roadside site plan. That's going to be replacing the Wendy's up on Crystal Ave.
Okay.
That's coming in 2 weeks.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
So with that, we're going to go into the public hearing section. And the first item on the agenda is Bangor Savings Bank, PID 31071, 44 Crystal Ave, and PID 31072, 46 Crystal Ave, lot line adjustment. George, if you want to lead off.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, this one, same thing as what we had a couple of weeks ago on the Ashley Drive plan. It's the same developer. It's technically, there's going to be 2 applications, so you're going to have to vote separately. The first one is a lot line change between Bluefin Holdings, which is the motorcycle place on Crystal Ave. It's at 44 and 46, and then Bangor Savings Bank is the property owner from where the old Nestle Cafe and the Pizza Hut was located. So the first plan you have to go through that exercise will be to adjust the lot line between those two properties. And then the second plan right after this will be the actual site plan for the Bangor Savings Bank. So, staff recommends approval of the lot line adjustment. It's pretty straightforward. And I would turn it over to Morgan Dunson, who's the engineer representing the bank, and David Latulip, who's representing the bank as well, and they're here.
So when you approach here, if you would both, so it picked up by the secretary, your name and the business you're with.
Okay, David Latulip with CJ Developers representing Bangor Savings Bank.
And I'm Morgan Dunson with Nobis Group. I'm the civil engineer.
Okay, so please give an explanation of what you're attempting here.
Thank you. As George was saying, that this site is, do I just talk about the lot merger first, or?
Do the lot
Oh, okay.
merger first.
Okay.
No, it's okay.
Then we're gonna
I could
open
talk
up
about them all,
public
but.
hearing. So after that, the public hearing will be open, then we'll close the public
Got it.
hearing, bring it back to the board. We'll clean up the lot line adjustment, then we'll go into the next item.
All right, perfect.
You can't do the next item without the lot line.
Morgan, could you just for the record, they have the packet. What sheet is the lot line plan on?
Yep.
It's in your packet. Thank you.
So it'll be
Seconds.
on,
One of two?
yep, one of two. Correct, yep. All right, so the lot line merger is to create a more conforming lot of the site for Bangor Savings Bank. So we are proposing to annex a portion of the dairy cycle lot, approximately 5,000 square feet or 0.12 acres. It is I'm gonna go up here.
You're gonna need to have the microphone too, because you're on TV. So if you're too far away from the mic, you're not gonna
I'll
be
just
able
hold
to
it, sorry.
pick that up.
It is this triangle portion, and of like a 5-foot line up here is the part that we are proposing to merge our lot with.
And the intent of the merger was so it conformed, so we didn't have to require any variances or waivers. So that was the intent, and the neighbor was accommodating, and their property still meets all the requirements. Thank you.
Any questions?
Complete your presentation.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, with that, then gonna ask somebody to make a motion to accept jurisdiction.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion. I move to accept jurisdiction to the lot line adjustment plan before the board for Bangor Savings Bank and Bluefin Holdings LLC, PID 31071, 44 Crystal Ave, and PID 31072, 46 Crystal Ave.
So we have a motion by Mr. Ganesh, second
Second.
by Mr. Nelson.
turn his mic
Mr.
on.
Chase,
Yes.
Mr. Fishman,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Ganesh.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby,
Yes.
Mr. Feinhauer,
Yes.
Mr. Myers. Mr. Nelson.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes also, so
All right, so, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to keep on going. There is no, just for the record, there is no determination of regional impact because it's a lot line. So I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
So we have a motion to open the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, move forward. So anybody wishing to speak on this particular item on the lot line adjustment, please come forward, state your name and your address. Seeing. Oh, thank you, Mr. Owen. I forgot to announce you. You get? Does you want to speak on the lot line or on the site?
Oh, yeah, come on up.
And again, repeat your name and address, please, for the record.
How you doing? Morty Raz, 2 Concord Ave. Michael Caffarelli.
Could you sit by the
one-
mics so we can
Sure,
pick you
yeah.
up?
Oh, okay.
Get comfortable.
I'm Michael Caffarelli, 1 Sherrill Avenue. And Morty Raz, 2 Concord Ave. What we want to make sure is that when the motorcycle shop does move over this lot line, that they repair their fence that's in disrepair that is also between our abutting properties to theirs.
Basically, I've spoken with them multiple times. I've talked to the town. I moved in 3 years ago. The problem is I live on a dead-end road that allows kids to cut through our properties and cut through their property, and they just litter, throw trash. I'm constantly picking it up. The fence is right out my front window of my house. All I want them to do is replace this fence. I looked in the town records, they're required to maintain a fence and actually maintain the maintenance on the fence. You know, staring out your front window of your house that you spent all the money that you've had to buy, and you look at this thing falling down, I've been repairing it. I've spoken with them, I tried being nice with them. I said, you know, could you guys repair it? They blew me off. I've gone to the town, because we had an issue with them allowing T-bones to park there. So at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, whatnot, when T-bones gets out, everybody from there, probably 40 cars are sitting in that parking lot, either idling, playing music, or just hanging out, which I talked to the town, and now they're all parking at Nestle Toll House. So, you know, there's a lot of moving parts to everything in this area that I wanted to speak with you guys about, because I feel like I'm not getting any help when I'm trying to do the right thing and just have them. I just want them to maintain their property. So that's my issue with it. Morty's my neighbor, so basically, yeah, like the lights from the building, the drive-through is kind of what he needs to talk about.
Yeah, so just want to make sure like that the buffer zones are there for noise, for sound, and that the lights are aiming towards the businesses, not towards the residents, that's all.
Okay, anything further? Because once we complete this and I close the public hearing, we're gonna bring them back and they'll,
Yep.
they'll talk to that.
Yep, thank you.
I just want to make a comment to them. I just want to make a comment to them if I could.
Okay, go ahead.
So,
Mr. Ganese has a comment for you.
about your complaints, I would say, reach out to code enforcement, tell them your complaints about the noise and everything, and if you don't get any response from them, show up at one of the council meetings. We have a public hearing, right at the beginning of our council meeting. We meet the first and third Tuesday of every month, 7 o'clock sharp, so you can, you know, let myself and the other fellow councils know what's going on over there, so maybe we can address it. Right.
Mr. Chair, just for the record, just to follow up, for the new members too, real quickly on that, this is an ongoing issue, and I agree with what Dave said. For the newer members, when the motorcycle place was approved, it went from the old post office to what you see there today. Part of the site plan approval was to maintain that fence, and that has not happened. It went back and forth. Code enforcement has reached out to them 2-3 times, fixed the fence. So the owners are aware of it. I can reinforce that to Bob Mackey tomorrow morning, that it's the responsibility of the motorcycle place to fix and maintain that fence where Cheryl Ave is, where Mr. Mastriano, I forget your last name, Calogero lives, I think. Okay, I apologize. It's ongoing. I'll alert Mr. Mackey again to that.
Okay,
Thank you, George.
typically after the third time, he usually sends out the letter from the lawyers and what the penalty is per day. Yes, Mr. Healy?
Yeah, I had a question on that. So if we approved a plan years ago and they're required to maintain that fence and they're not doing it, and it looks like they've been asked to fix it, what happens next? So is there, you know, a violation where they get some type of fine, or what's the process? Because it doesn't seem like they're fixing
That's,
it.
the code enforcement then initiates with the town lawyer, a letter to them, and then if they responds back, not in the affirmative, then they initiate the penalty clause.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, well, no, because we got the public hearing over, so I was going to see if anybody else wanted to come and speak on it and ask, if there was anybody online.
Seeing none rise online, Mr.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing so we can keep discussing that issue.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second by Mr. Nelson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Why don't you come back, and I think Mr. Nelson had a question.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So what I'm hearing is that there is I believe it's shown on the plan as a chain link fence that's on the property of the motorcycle establishment. And I hear that it is something that was a condition of the site plan approval back when that was before the board. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. So 2 questions. One is, given that the cycle folks are co-applicants for the purpose of the lot line adjustment, but not for the site plan, is it within our jurisdiction to put a condition on the lot line adjustment relating to what is effectively a site plan issue?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to suggest a solution.
Go ahead.
I mean, Bluefin's been a good neighbor. They've been patient because we started this process pre-COVID, so it's been dragging on. I'll take the responsibility to repair the fence as part of our project. And these are good neighbors. They needed the fence fixed. I'd rather not have a drawn-out process of code enforcement. We're going to have a fencing person there. We'll go look at it and we'll take care of it as part of our project, just to be neighborly. So I know it's outside our scope, but it
So
feels
then
like the
perhaps
right
when
thing
we
to do.
get to the site plan, we can actually make that a condition.
That'd be
Right.
fine.
Excellent, thank
That would
you.
be perfect for
That'd
the
be
site plan.
So, Mr. Chase?
So, being the devil's advocate here, and I understand what he's saying, it's where they're talking about the fence being bad is not on their property. So just for whatever, they get a fencing company down there, the owners that are in violation say, wait a minute, that's my fence, you got no business touching that, get off my property. Then where are we?
We'll reach out to Bluefin and make sure
You
that
know,
we
I
have
mean, it's a
permission
distinct
to do it.
possibility if, you know, so I don't want to put the board in a bad situation by putting conditions on there that can't be controlled by,
Good
even
point.
by the applicant.
Good point. Dave has a question, I have a question.
So, if it can't be worked out between the parties, obviously, there is code enforcement issues, but it's also lawful for us to conduct a condition compliance hearing and find that the site plan is in violation of an existing condition, and take action at the board level.
On the original site plan from.
On the original site plan, correct.
I agree.
Mr.
Better way to
Manise?
do it.
One question for Mr. Caffarelli. You're talking about, is that the stockade fence? So there's a wooden fence. Just for the record, if you can come up and, 'cause I'm looking at Google Street View. I'm just curious, that way we get a good idea.
That's right here.
It's the whole back parking lot. So the fence runs all the way down to the end of Sherrill Avenue. Okay? So when I spoke with them also on record, they said that there's an opening gate, right? So I've been repairing the fence because they plowed it down, like, I think the year that I moved in. So I stood the fence back up. I brought this to the code enforcement. I talked to them. I'm more than certain they addressed it because the cars are not as many as it used to be. But they said that they need an opening gate door to leave the property in case of a parade. So why is it a commercial property has access to a residential street is another thing. Like, I just want them to put a solid fence up the whole way to keep people out. That's all I'm asking, is a maintained fence to keep people from traveling through and littering. But it goes all the way down to my neighbor Dave's corner of his property, the back side of the parking lot. All I want them to, I don't need them to replace the back side of the fence. I just want any access from Sherrill Ave to be cut off to that motorcycle shop to stop kids from cutting through.
All right, so what I'm gonna suggest is Mr. Cioris maybe can look at the original plan when the motorcycle went in to see what they were putting up there for fencing and everything, because that's something that's above our purview.
Yeah, I
on the planning
understand.
board, but, you know, we can have Mr. Cioris check into it and have
Yeah.
code enforcement look into it.
Okay, thank
We
you.
can still,
Thank you.
we can still put it as a condition, too. Oh, Mr. Chase?
I just had one comment for the applicant. I understand what he's talking about, but if what he's talking about is I don't think Sherrill Ave is still a public way, and I don't think the property owner can be forced to not have a gate for access onto a public way. I understand what he's talking about, and I sympathize with him, but RSAs are RSAs. It's a public way. Anybody can have access to a public way.
Right.
As long as it's not going onto public property. So if, you know, they may close that gate where you're saying if it dumps onto a private parcel of land and move it over to where it dumps onto the end of Sherrill Ave. Anybody can have access to a public way. There's nothing you can do about that.
Okay, any other further questions from the board? If not, will you continue on?
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to read the finding of facts. I move to find the proposed plan does not alter the existing conditions which would affect access to the lots, ensuring the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood remains unchanged as a result of the adjustment of the lot line.
Second.
Here we have a motion, we have a second. I also want to mention that there were no waivers that needed to be granted, so we skipped over that particular area there. So with that, Mr. Chase,
Yes.
Mr. Fishman,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Ganese.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer,
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Nelson.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Any questions from town engineer?
No comments, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
thank you. And there was nothing on the virtual? Okay, got it.
No, we
Well
closed the
said.
public hearing. All right, so, Mr. Chairman, if there's no other comments and no issues from Public Works, I'm going to make a motion approve pursuant to RSA 676:4, Roman numeral 3, expedited review with the following conditions, subject to the owner's signature, subject to the on-site inspection of town engineer, establish escrow for the settings and the bounds, or certify the bounds have been set, obtain written approval from the planning director or designee that the GIS disk is received in operable and complies with LDCR section 1702414C. Conditions precedent shall be met within 6 months. Submission of the appropriate recording fees payable to the Rockingham County Registry of Deeds. This includes the $25 L-chip fee, recording fees for the Mylar, and the notice of decision.
Second.
So we have a motion, we have a second. You're really getting good at that.
Been doing it forever.
All right, well, Mr. Chase.
I will vote yes with the caveat that the applicant does reach out and do the best that he can to address the abutters' legitimate concerns that they have there. Even
And
though the
we're also
plan-
going to notice that on the site plan, too.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Ganese?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So that's, first hurdle is down. And going on, the next public hearing, again, will be Bangor Savings Bank, PID 31072, 46 Crystal Avenue, site plan review. So we typically have
Same
Judge
thing, I'll do a quick-
introduce it,
all
and then we're
right.
going to turn it over to you, and then
Just for
we'll
the
open up the
record.
public hearing.
Okay. Just for the record again, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bangor Savings Bank is the applicant, again, located at 46 Crystal Ave. The purpose of the plan is for a 2,900 square foot bank branch located in the general commercial district. All town departments have reviewed and signed the plan. There are no waiver requests. There are no state permits required. Staff would recommend approval of the application. And again, I'll turn it over to Morgan Dunson and David Lutule.
Okay, you're on.
Thank you. So this site is currently developed as the Nestle Toll House Bakery. So we're proposing to demo the site and build a new 29,000 square foot bank.
2,900.
Sorry, yes, oh my gosh. With 2 ATM drive-throughs. This site will have 17 parking spots. The parking spots in the back will be for employees only. The access off Crystal Ave will remain the same, so people will come into the site. There is a one-way around to the ATM machines and then out. We are going to make a connection to the existing right-of-way sidewalk, having a walkable path up to the front door of the building. We are proposing to build a fence up on the back side of the lot to create screening for abutters. And for stormwater design, we created 3 rain gardens to treat the stormwater. Whereas before, the stormwater was just sheet flowing straight off to the property on to the north, Valvoline, just running off the property untreated. So we are now going to be treating the stormwater from the pavement. For the utilities, we are going to reuse the existing sewer and water connections to Crystal Ave and bring in underground electric from the existing utility pole on the corner of the site. You want to, okay.
And, just for, this is the architecture that we selected. This was similar to what we just did in historic downtown Bar Harbor. That's gotten very well received. They really like the colonial look between combination of the brick and the clapboard and some really extensive trim work. So we think it'll be a nice addition to Crystal Ave and fit in real well, so.
Now, is that color pattern typical of what you would see
Yes,
in all the
yep,
other
with the
banks?
brick and the tan with the white trim, shingled roof versus a flat roof. So it's a nice modest building that kind of fits in between. What we're finding in a lot of these towns here, like in is brick and colonial. So it kind of does some of the millwork, but also some of the colonial residential buildings you see. So it's a nice combination.
Shortly, you meet something different in this town,
What's that?
granite.
Oh, yeah.
Is there granite in there?
I think there's granite sills, so,
I always ask that question.
okay. And granite curbing, so.
Oh, yeah,
that helps.
well, you have granite.
So that's what we
That's right.
have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
So does that complete your
Yes,
presentation?
thank you.
So,
All right, so Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion to accept jurisdiction, move to accept jurisdiction of the site plan before the board for Bangor Savings Bank, PID 3107246 Crystal Avenue.
Second.
so we have a motion by Mr. Grenier, second by Mr. Nelson. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Grenier?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, so we've accepted jurisdiction.
All right, so Mr. Chairman, I'm going to read the determination of regional impact pursuant to RSA 36, colon 56. The board finds the proposal as presented at this time meets the definition of a development of regional impact.
Second.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Motion by Mr. Grenier, second by Mr. Nelson. Mr. Chase?
No. This is a small local project and does not meet the definition of a regional impact.
Mr. Fishman?
No, for the same reasons.
Mr. Healy?
No, for the same reasons as Mr. Chase.
Mr. Grenier?
No, for the same reasons.
Mr. Malaby?
No, for the same reasons as Mr. Chase.
Mr. Meyer?
I agree with Mr. Chase, so I'll vote no.
Mr. Feinauer?
No, for the same reasons as Mr. Chase.
Mr. Nelson?
No regional impact.
And the chair will also go with no regional impact. So we've moved on from that one to the next one.
All right, so Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to open the public hearing regarding this matter.
Second.
So we have a motion by Mr. Grenier, second by Mr. Nelson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? The public hearing is now open. The same thing goes here, is that if you approach the bench, please say name and address. We have somebody approaching. And virtual, anybody on virtual?
Seeing none rise, Mr. Chair.
Oh, Owen's on TV.
Can we bring that over? If he's going to speak to that, we need you to be on the mic. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Morty Raz again, 2 Concord Ave. So I am right over here in this property. We've discussed that they are going to put a fence up here with some bushes to block headlights in the middle of the night from coming into the ATM that's 24/7, to make sure that we don't, that the dumpster is not emptied at 3 in the morning like at Valvoline and some of the other stuff, to be a good neighbor there. So I just want to make sure that we do get the chain link fence and some privacy bushes, maybe the stockade behind it to keep the lights out until the bushes grow into place. So that's it. Other than that, good luck.
It's also my understanding that they're going to correct the water flow that runs on the properties back there, and they're going to be dealing with that. So
I'm actually up pretty high over here. I haven't had water. I used to have all the plow drivers would dump all of the snow from Pizza Hut over here. That always used to knock down the fence. They're actually planning to push the snow over here.
Okay,
So,
very
but
good.
yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak?
Seeing none online, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Are you sure, Owen? I thought I saw someone up there on the screen. All right, so Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
So we have a motion to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. Passes. The public hearing is now closed. Also, there'll be no granting of waivers, as none have been requested. So going on to the next item. Mr. LaRue, any concerns or comments?
The only thing I would add to the comment regarding this drain swale going on along Concord Ave is that there will be some trees and some regrading of the area so that the abutter understands that there's going to be some construction activity during that process. But it'll be restored and will be a grass swale that will flow into the catch basin that's being installed at the intersection for that purpose.
Okay, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Regarding the abutters' comments about fencing and shrubbery, I believe that there is a fence shown on sheet C2, and the call-out says proposed 8-foot-tall screening fence typical. Can you tell us what the construction materials of that
Right now,
fence?
we're proposing wood, just because it holds up better versus chain link. So typically, we're going to put an 8-foot-tall wooden fence so that they'll screen any and all sort of traffic light that would come around the building.
Okay, thank you.
That
And my-
detail is on sheet C8, stockade fence, on the bottom left
Oh, yeah.
for the fence.
Which number?
C8,
Okay, indeed, it is.
5/8 cedar.
Next question, there was a discussion of shrubbery, and I'm looking at sheet LA 101, which indicates the landscape planting. The fence doesn't show up here, so it's sort of hard for me to tell, but the request from the abutter was to mask
Yep.
headlights. Can you address that issue with respect to the landscape plan?
Yeah, so as of right now, it doesn't have any shrubbery proposed, but that is definitely a revision that we can make.
But it's also an 8-foot fence. I'm not sure if it's necessary. He's concerned about traffic lights.
Yeah, so I would question, number one, is it something you would accommodate? And number two, is there really room between the pavement and the fence to have a healthy shrub grow?
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, so there is, on sheet C2, it calls out, we have a guardrail next to the drive, which is, I believe, 1.5 feet off the drive. And then we have the 8-foot tall stockade fence right off that. And I think the pinch point is 5 feet from the road to the property line. So there's not much room to work with for shrubbery.
what you're suggesting is that the 8-foot tall solid stockade fence would be sufficient in lieu of additional shrubbery to block headlights?
Yes. And what we've told the neighbor, because he's a nice gentleman, is we'll meet him out there post-construction, and if it's a matter of putting a couple arborvitaes to improve his thing, that's something we would do without any questions.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, is that wood stockade or vinyl?
Wood.
Okay. Anybody else have any further questions? Seeing none?
All right, so I'm going to keep on going. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move to find pursuant to LDCR Section 17085 that the application as presented demonstrates substantial compliance with the architectural design regulations. This property is located in the general commercial district and meets a high level of compliance as outlined in Section 170-84.
Second.
So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. So that one passes.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to read the finding of facts. Move to find the proposed plan does not alter the existing conditions which would affect access to the lots, ensuring the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood remains unchanged as a result of the site plan. The proposed development would allow for an ongoing redevelopment of the general commercial district parcels along Crystal Ave and help expand the town's tax base. The redevelopment project would replace an existing vacant building with a new business venture located in Derry and provide employment opportunities.
So we have a motion, we have a second with Mr. Nelson.
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. Now for the final
So if there's
motion.
any further comments from anybody on the board or Public Works or anything?
Public Works.
All the
Mr. Nelson.
Yeah, just to remind Mr. Greenes to add friendly negotiation about the fence repair to the condition of approval for the site plan.
Okay, and if I mess it up, you can correct me. All right, so if there's no other comments, I'm gonna make a motion to approve pursuant to RSA 674:4, numerical I, complete an application with the following conditions. Subject to the owner's signature, subject to the on-site inspection by the town engineer, establish appropriate escrow for the requirement to complete the project, obtain written approval from the plan director designee that the GIS disk is received and operable and complies with the LDCR, section 17024, 14C, in friendly negotiations with,
Yeah, friendly negotiations with the owners of the motorcycle sales facility with regard to fixing the fence that was discussed this evening.
thank you, Mr. Nelson, and conditions precedent shall be met within 6 months.
Do we have a motion?
Second.
We have a second. Starting with Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Grenese.
I'm gonna vote yes, I just wanna make a comment. I think it's great seeing redevelop of that area. It's gonna bring jobs to the town, tax base. It's definitely something great for the town, so absolutely yes.
Did I say Mr. Melby yet?
No, not yet. I vote yes.
Okay, Mr. Feinauer.
Yes.
Mr. Meyer.
I would agree with Mr. Grenese's comments, yes.
Mr. Nelson.
I'm going to vote yes and give you a special kudos on your architectural design. I think it is excellent.
And the chair votes yes also. We want to welcome you to the town of
Yep.
Derry. Also, knowing that you're in the banking industry, and hopefully you watched the Federal Reserve on Monday. They
Okay.
were going to shorten it, but they decided to wait another quarter. Do you have any insight that it's going to open up?
I am their developer. Have no insights and no stock tips.
So I must say this, anybody aggrieved by our decision here have 30 days to enact a request for rehearing, or they can go directly to Superior Court. So with that, welcome to the town of Derry.
I'd like to
Mr.
make,
Chairman, are you looking for investment tips here?
I'd like to make one comment. I've done projects probably in 50 different communities, 5 different states. I've been telling people for the last 6 months, my experience in Derry is probably one of the top. Your staff, the way they work proactively, come to the meetings prepared, they gave us information. What that does is allow us to do a better project for the community and for the town. So kudos to Derry and your entire process. So, and I mean that sincerely.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Kudos to
Yeah, we have a
Mrs.
chair,
Joyce,
we
his
have a
team,
technical
and
review.
Georgia and
Mark
Mike,
and-
just top shelf.
Technical review committee smooths
it
over a
works.
lot of the rough edges,
It works.
make it our job a lot easier.
Can I make a quick comment? Did you mispronounce the name of the other town? Isn't it Bahaba?
Bahaba.
Okay, moving on. Should have brought some lobsters.
Go where? We should go to Bahama.
Okay, the next item in the public hearing is Connor Post Restorations LLC, PID 29011, 24 Jefferson Street, a 3-lot subdivision.
Okay. Rob, I do my overview and then I'll turn it over to you, okay? Great, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you indicated, the applicant's Corner Post Restorations LLC. The property is located at 24 Jefferson Street. The purpose of the plan is for a 3-lot subdivision located in the medium-high density residential 2 district. There's an existing house on the parcel. I want to compliment the owners. That house has been fixed up and it was in deteriorating condition last year from a property maintenance point of view from the town, and they've done an awesome job, excuse me, to fix that existing house. And then there'll be 2 new house lots being proposed for single family only. All town departments have reviewed and signed the plan. There are no waiver requests. We do have 1 state permit from New Hampshire DES. They did obtain their state subdivision approval. We have a copy of that in the file. And again, staff would recommend approval of the subdivision application. And I will turn over to Rob Deegan, the surveyor representing the owners.
Good evening. As George said, my name is Rob Deegan. I'm with S&H Land Services. In the audience tonight are Megan Collins and Brian Legardo of Corner Post Restorations. So this is a pretty straightforward subdivision, one lot into three, as George said, with one existing house on the property. It has a somewhat unique feature in that a portion of the property actually projects into the town of Londonderry. And we have shown this plan to the town of Londonderry. Of course. We'll just- yeah. Oh, I got this. Yep. All right. So this portion here of the property is actually in the town of Londonderry. However, the proposed lots meet all the requirements of the dairy regulations without utilizing any of that land within the town of Londonderry. So the town, the Londonderry Planning Board did not feel the need to get involved because of that. We're requesting one waiver for overhead utilities, which under the justification that, you know, all the houses existing on the street already have overhead utilities, and, you know, there's poles right there. It's going to be septic systems and public water. And we've worked with Mark LaRue to address a few concerns he had regarding the status of the water main out there, and just cleaning up some drainage and stuff. There's also, we are proposing, doesn't really show on this sheet. There's, at this time, there is no turnaround for like plows and fire trucks and that sort of thing on the street. So we are proposing a turnaround easement on the third lot, which will cover the end of the proposed driveway for that lot, but would give an easement to turn around town vehicles. And that's
So
pretty
that
much it.
completes your presentation?
Yes, sir.
Before I open the public hearing, I have a technical question for George. Even though he says it has nothing to do with the planning board of the town of Londonderry, I mean, they're changing a complete lot line that also involves Londonderry. Do we have to give Londonderry notice? And they have to redo the records of,
We were just talking about that. Let's continue the process, and it'll come to light in a minute.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Jason. So with that, we need to accept
Mr.
jurisdiction.
Chair, I make a motion to accept jurisdiction. I move to accept jurisdiction of the subdivision plan before the board for Corner Post Restorations LLC, PID 29011, 24 Jefferson Street.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Ganesh, second by Mr. Nelson. All in favor, say aye.
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 Abstain. Motion passes. We have accepted jurisdiction.
I guess there is no regional impact?
Would you make that proposal, please?
So should I just
Because-
read what was on the other one?
Because it's going to abut Londonderry's land.
It's the same RSA, right, George? 'Cause not, all right, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
just
make,
read it for the record, right? Yep.
yeah, I'm gonna make a motion, determination of regional impact pursuant to RSA 36:56. The board finds that the proposal as presented at this time meets the definition of a development of regional impact.
Second.
So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
You have to take a poll on this one, sir.
Sorry?
Poll on this one.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Call vote.
Mr. Chase?
Yes, at this time,
That's
where
right.
this is a split lot between the towns of Derry and Londonderry, this is a
There's an impact.
determination of regional impact at this time. And then after the vote, I can continue.
So, Mr. Fishman?
Abstain.
Mr. Healy?
Yes, same reasons as Mr. Chase.
Mr. Ganesh?
I'm gonna vote yes for the same reasons, because there is an impact, because there is two towns involved.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes, for the same reasons as Mr. Chase.
Mr. Feinhauer?
Abstain.
Mr. Myers?
Yes, same reasons.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes, for the same reasons as Mr. Chase.
And the chair will vote for the same reason, too. So that's now been accepted.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Mr. Chase.
So per the RSAs, at this time, since we have made a determination of regional impact, the deliberations must cease until the town of Londonderry has been notified, and then the applicant can come back in our next meeting, and we can continue this.
And do we have to add that in as one of the conditions to notify Londonderry?
No.
No, we must
Mr. Chairman,
stop.
I need to, I'll make the motion for you.
Okay.
I move to continue this plan to the next available date, after which the town of Londonderry has responded to the notice we're going to send them.
Yeah, the date would be February 21st, 2 weeks from tonight.
Okay?
I'll second that.
Yeah, and then I can speak to that too if you want. But do the motion first if you want, or do you want me?
Well, no,
Yeah,
can you let George speak on that? Because that'll determine.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no,
The motion's still open, so
Yes,
yes.
Yeah, the motion's still, yeah, for the record, they have to notify the town of Londonderry meeting, and we've had this happen before. The Londonderry people have called me or reached out to me, and they'll say that it's not required for the Londonderry Planning Board. You know, we've had two similar ones on the Derry line when you come in off of where the
We did Wyndham.
Fountain, not the Fountain, what's the new place where Derry Pizza used to be? That's on the town line, so they would
Friendly
notify us and say, do you want site plan review? We'd make a determine yes or no. So I think the applicant will reach out to Londonderry, and my colleague in Londonderry, they can just say it's not required, or it would be. I don't think it would be in this case, but I need to have something formal from the town of Londonderry saying that they got the request from Derry. If it's not required, that's fine. We've had a couple of those over the years.
Now, is that sufficient to come from the their planning board, or does it have to come from the town council?
They would have to make that determination. If they think it needs to go to the Londonderry Planning Board, in theory, yes, they would have to make that determination.
Because that may delay the time that we're looking at for the next hearing, too.
Yeah, or, you know, the other thing that's happened a couple of times, we had two, when you came in on 102 on the Londonderry line, there's the real estate office on the left if you're coming in on the town line, across from Valentine Real Estate. That property, the line goes through that property on the real estate office. The building is in Londonderry. The parking lot to the right is in Derry. When you went to the old Derry Pizza, the building is in Derry and the back parking lot is in Londonderry. So both Londonderry, what they did is they made it subject to the other town's planning board review. So if Londonderry comes back next week and says they want to see it, you guys can then put a condition of approval on the 21st of February saying, subject to the Londonderry Planning Board approval. We've done that a couple of times now.
Yeah, I know we did it for Wyndham.
Question. So the responsibility to notify Londonderry, because they're in a butter, would be the applicant?
They should reach out to them. I can personally call my colleague over there, but, because the only abutter would be the Londonderry people, not the town of Londonderry itself. So I can reach out to my colleague, and I think to play for the record, Rob can probably reach out to them.
If I can interject for a second, as I said before, we've already shown this to the Londonderry Planning Board. Back in like August.
And
Yes.
what, did you
Did they
get
give you-
anything in writing from them or anything saying it wasn't
I
required?
don't have a letter,
They would have minutes.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
but it was shown to the Londonderry Board
And no, I believe you.
this past, I can't remember exactly which month it was, but
But you don't know the date?
I don't have the date off the
I was
top
gonna
of my
say,
head.
we can look, see if they post the minutes on the town website, like we do.
The staff in Londonderry basically showed it to the board as a sort of informational thing. They were not concerned on account of the fact that we are not relying on that land in Londonderry for this application, nor is anything changing within the town of Londonderry. So no lot lines are being changed in Londonderry. That land that is in Londonderry is going to remain as it is. It will still have the same lot number in Londonderry and get the same tax bill in Londonderry. There is no change there.
I think there would be. Yes, Mr. Nelson?
Mr. Chairman, that could very well be true, and if we were to have minutes of the Londonderry Planning Board in front of us tonight that indicated that they declined to accept any interest in this application, then we could continue. But I believe that Mr. Soros is right under the way the state statute is written, there's a formal notification and acknowledgement required. And so, given that we don't have those minutes in evidence tonight, we would have to continue this to the next available meeting anyway.
You definitely don't remember the date.
Unfortunately, no.
Mr. Chair,
Second, we may be able to.
I would agree that we would have to have something in writing, absolutely, before we can go any further. We'd have to have something in writing.
You're talking about some land being moved around here.
No, exactly. I mean, I agree with with all due respect to the applicant, that's fine, and I believe every word he said, but we would need something formal in front of us before we go forward.
So we need a motion to continuance.
Yeah, I made a motion to continue the
We believe you,
application.
Rob, I think.
And I seconded it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't make the motion.
No, I made the motion, it was seconded, we were discussing it.
Yeah. And you're
And
going
I'm
to
trying to reach out.
I will reach out to my colleague. They have a new staff in the planning office there, so I will reach out to I don't know them, it's the new folks over there. I'll personally reach out to the Londonderry folks.
And
I
tentatively, we're
believe what
looking
Rob
at
said, obviously, too.
February 21st?
February 21st, so the abutters are here. They will not be re-notified. I know there are some here tonight. They will not be re-notified. It'll just be a continuation. Okay, because I know there's some people here in the audience.
So we have a motion on the floor. Any further questions from the board members? If not, Mr. Chase,
Yes.
Mr. Fishman,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Gunice,
Yes.
Mr. Malaby,
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer,
Yes.
Mr. Meyer,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. So we have the continuation on to February 21st.
Chairman?
Sorry about that. but you
one
want
other
to make sure we cross Ts and dot our Is.
Mr. Chairman, just for the record, since some of the abutters are here, would you be willing, Rob, to stay for a few minutes and show the abutters the plan? You here for that 24 Jefferson? Just that you've been sitting here for the last hour? Yeah, I know you were notified, but if you wanted to look at the plan, the engineer's here. If you want to look at the plan, since you've been here tonight.
My only concern is
Some of this property's coming over into
the
Derry.
sign that says
Still gonna be
the sign,
Alright.
saying that, get easement from the right side.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my house, that's my driveway. Would you wanna, any of you, would you wanna live there, where they're gonna pile 10 feet of snow right there?
Why don't I the owners are here in the back of the room. If you guys could talk, since you're here, the owners are here and the surveyor and the engineer that drew that up, and that, they can talk to you about that. The board had to continue this, so. You can come back on the 21st too, but I'm just saying, since you had to be here, maybe they can answer that tonight, okay?
And I believe, Mr. Owen, did you have a comment?
No, Mr. Chair.
I thought I face up there again.
So we're closed till February 21st when you come back.
Yep.
Under the board member comments, I have one thing I would like to say. Last night I did a presentation to the town council regarding the past annual events of the planning board. I'm going to ask George if you could send that PowerPoint out to all the other membership so that they can see it. So, because we did outdo zoning board again.
They have new people in Londonderry. I don't know who Colleen's not there anymore, so I'm not sure who, I haven't.
Not only is Colleen not there, but the guy they hired to replace Colleen is apparently gone.
Oh, I didn't know that either, okay.
Oh, yeah, planning boards, it's all screwed up.
I mean, in the past, when Colleen and I would do it, I would just get one sentence from either of us and say, planning board review's not required. Okay, thank you.
So any other comments from the plan, Mr. Gunice?
I just want to remind everybody, Frost Fest is Saturday the 17th. Hopefully we get some cold weather and some snow. Go out and enjoy it. It's a great thing for the town, so little plug for Frost Fest. And excellent job last night.
Thank you.
Town council.
So with that,
I make a motion
Seeing-
to adjourn.
Second.
we are adjourned. Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? We are adjourned now.